Sorry.
Did you what?
Have a laptop if you won't.
Evening.
I can do my
Yeah, here you go.
I'm not sure if the whole Jen taking over the park thing is on the agenda today, but I guess it'll probably be brought up. How you doing?
We need someone to be the timekeeper. Timekeeper.
Can I do it from here?
Sure can. Yeah. All right. Okay, thank you. Okay. We are ready to open the General Assembly of Occupy Asheville.
Woo!
Welcome, everybody. Can we please show of hands anybody that's here for the first time to the General Assembly?
Funny.
So this is our process for deciding together on the issues and strategies that affect our whole movement here in Asheville. We're going to give some information to help you with your needs, kind of plug into the process. First thing is we're going to introduce our team tonight. So we have different roles, different people who accept different roles in our assembly. I'm Tracy, and I am facilitating tonight with and we have our staff keeper, my name is Tanya. And can you explain the staff? Yes, so staff, if you have questions, please raise your hand. I'm going to point to you and give you a number. If you hold that number up, it'll be 1, 2, 3, so that I know how to call on you. We use progressive staff, and what that means is that gives
What progressive stack is for is that groups, minority groups in particular, that traditionally don't have as much of a voice in our society are prioritized. So if 4 hands go up at once on an issue, that means that a black female or a Native American female would be the first, regardless of the order of the hands that go up, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So it's just prioritizing the people who don't normally have as much of a voice.
Okay. So, staff keeper, if you want to speak at some point, you would go ahead and raise your hand for Tanya. Tanya, thank you. We also have a role called a vibe keeper. This is somebody that has on kind of the general feeling in the group. She's watching out to see, are there energies happening in the group tonight that she wants to attend to, that we want to attend to, we want to be aware of. So Robin is the vibe keeper. I hear you. We're trying to be louder. Thank you. Yeah, my role is to feel you guys and see where we're at. Sometimes it's confusing. Another role that I will have is that if you feel like you are not personally being heard, and I'm noticing that for some reason or another, I might come and try to talk with you one-on-one, and it's not because I think you're bad. It's just because we want to make sure that individuals who might feel a little bit upset are feeling heard as well. We have 2 other very important roles. The minute takers, so our minutes, we're forming, folks are trying to get a little bit better about our information. Most of the time, our minutes are posted on the Occupy Asheville website. And so, Holly, thank you so much, is taking minutes tonight. Talk really loud. If you have anything, like a paper of any kind that you hand out or that you have a synopsis, you can hand it to Holly. She'll make sure that gets in the minutes today. Finally, we have a timekeeper to make sure we stay on track with time, and that is
Caleb.
Caleb. So I want to thank our facilitation team tonight for all the roles that we're taking on to make this meeting hopefully run more smoothly. The first thing that we do as part of our process that we can sense on this decision as a group is to take a minute of silence so that we can collect ourselves, remember our our intention for being here together tonight. So I'm just going to ask you to, with me right now, take a minute of silence. That intention as we go forward. The next step here, do you have a sheet of our...
Oh, yeah, have stuff, yeah. You can have all you need. That's for
our
you can help us.
agreements together. So I have it on my computer. You know, we just had a print of... It's right over there. Wonderful aspect of being outside.
You want to draw on that? You want to blow link?
These are the agreed upon, they're the agreements that we've consented upon within Occupy Asheville, within this particular occupation. So I'm going to read them off just to kind of remind everybody what we're doing here and what the context is that we've set as a community for the container. In our collective action with the Occupy Asheville movement, as we assert our rights to peaceable assembly, we acknowledge the serious nature of the work before us. We begin with these general agreements. We will strive for unity and cooperation. Oh, goodness. Do we have a megaphone? Where's people's mic? No? People's mic. We do have all right, so we're going to use people's mic. My voice will not hold up if I try to shout. So people's mic is I'm going to do short sections. I'm going to do like 3 to 5 words, and then you guys mirror it back to me. So, hi, my name's Ryan.
Hi, my name's Ryan.
Good work. Okay. We will strive for unity.
We will strive for unity.
And cooperation in our diversity.
And cooperation in our diversity.
Keep a clear, aware, and alert mind.
Keep a clear and alert mind.
FYI, that means no substances in camp.
No substances in camp.
Except for tobacco and caffeine.
Except for tobacco and caffeine.
3, promote peaceful solutions to conflict.
Promote peaceful solutions to conflict.
Respect the dignity of all persons.
Respect the dignity of all persons.
Protect the living environment.
Protect the living environment.
Maintain clean and safe surroundings.
Maintain clean and safe surroundings.
Reflect in our actions the common good we seek.
Reflect in our actions the common good we seek.
Base our solidarity on respect.
Base our solidarity on respect.
For the diversity of nonviolent tactics.
For the diversity of nonviolent tactics.
And plans of other direct action groups.
And plans of other direct action groups.
8. Strive to refrain from initiation of offensive.
Strive to refrain from initiation of offensive.
Violence against any person.
Violence against any person.
Keep any debates or criticisms.
Keep any debates or criticisms.
Internal to the movement.
Internal to the movement.
Avoiding any public or media denunciation.
Avoiding any public or media denunciation.
Of fellow activists and actions.
Of fellow activists and actions.
Oppose any state repression of speech and dissent.
Oppose any state repression of speech and dissent.
Including surveillance, infiltration, disruption and violence.
Disruption and violence.
We will not assist law enforcement.
We will not assist law enforcement.
Actions against activists and others.
Actions against activists and others.
Except in the instance of extreme physical violence.
Except in the instance of extreme physical violence.
And with the explicit agreement of persons.
And with the explicit agreement of persons.
Immediately affected by the violence.
Immediately affected by the violence.
We encourage our own processes of restorative justice.
We encourage our own processes of restorative justice.
By the people.
By the people.
And this document is always open to revision, by definition.
So what that means is if there is anybody that violates these consents upon agreements of how our group behaves toward each other, they automatically then disqualify themselves from participation in our group. So we expect that people behave respectfully, for example, with each other. And if you're not able to follow that agreement, then respectfully, you're not a part of this group. So the next part of this, again, and this is all our prep work for everybody new coming in, is to learn about the hand signals that we use. So in this large group, it can be kind of distracting if there's talking or cheering. So we have hand signals as a way to communicate. And I believe that Ryan is going to show you what those hand signals are.
All right. Okay, so everybody, I'm just going to stand up here and see if we can get through this without the people's mic, because it takes a long time. Okay, so basic hand signal. So this means I like what I hear. Actually, let's do people's mics for this. This is fun. I like what I hear.
I like what I hear.
I like what I see.
I like what I see.
This feels nice.
This feels nice.
I don't like what I hear.
I don't like what I hear.
I don't like what I see.
I don't like what I see.
And this doesn't feel good.
And it doesn't feel good.
Point of process.
Point of process.
This means if process, i.e. what we're talking about, is derailed, somebody can do this, and if we get at least 2 points of process, that stops the discussion, and we go, okay, back on point. What were we talking about? How do we get back there? That's the point of process. Next is block. So a block is a very serious symbol. What this means is you have severe ethical, moral, or safety issues with a proposition that's being put forward. If the proposition still goes through, that means you are going to leave the movement. That's how much you care. We don't want to lose people. So when someone makes a block, the vibe keeper will come to you and talk to you and see if we can turn your block into a friendly amendment on the proposition. Make sense? Cool. Okay. Point of information. This means you have a piece of factual information to remind the group. Say somebody says, the march is tomorrow at 2:30, and you go like this. The stack keeper will go, I gotcha, and maybe 3 hands go up. But the stack keeper will go, okay, speak. And you'll go, no, it's at 4:30. And you go, oh, everybody's like, oh, that's important. That's factual information, which is different from an opinion. Like, say, we should all wear green at the march. That's an opinion. Okay. Okay, one other use of the point of information is a question. You don't understand something, you do this, stack keeper will grab you, will go, okay, gotcha. And then you ask your question when you come up and stack. Make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. This works. We've previously used a couple other hand signals, but they got really complicated, and we decided simple is good. Oh, and then there's louder, which is pretty self-explanatory. More volume, can't hear you, and that's it.
Okay, good.
Regarding louder, if someone can't speak up louder, sometimes if they're quiet or whatever, you can always cup your ears and lean in a little bit to hear better.
Thank you.
Yeah, and we realize too that it's really nice when we get in cozy with each other. So come on down and let's get close into the group also, so everybody can hear.
So let's say you were talking about having, about the parade and the information, and the no, it's going to be at 2. What if someone did want to say, all wear shirts with 99 on it? What would be the appropriate dancing?
You would be raising your hand to be put on stack, and then your turn would come to be able to speak.
Actually, I'll clear.
Really information, and this is mistake.
No. Let me clarify that. So the key with all of this is not so much a more complicated hand signal will give you the time to speak the right thing. That's why it got too complicated. There's a time which will give everyone the chance to say whatever they need to say. So there'll be a time for announcements, which is that kind of thing. We should wear green tomorrow. No, okay. All right, there'll be a time for friendly amendment.
Yes. When there's a proposal and you want to offer something that doesn't contradict that proposal, you just want to add it on as an amendment, I think it would be great if we all wore green. Then the person who submitted the proposal can say, sure, that sounds great. And the group can add that to the proposal. So if everybody's ready, we have now reached the point where we can lay out our agenda. Most days we have a board here where we would have the agenda already written. But we are in a transition right now. We have a permanent or at least an indefinite home on Lexington Avenue under the bridge. And so we are starting to occupy that spot. And it's my understanding that's where our board is right now. But let me tell you, we have a very simple agenda tonight. The first thing that we'll do is we have working groups, committees who are working on particular issues. So the first part of our agenda will be to invite spokespeople up from the working group who will give you a reflection of what kinds of decisions that working group has made. Thank you. Then we're going to have, as part of those announcements, we're going to talk about the minutes from yesterday, so you know what decisions were consented on at yesterday's General Assembly. Then on our agenda tonight, we have one agenda item that has to do with our new Lexington home that we are occupying, and that is that the campers last night, there are some issues that came up with camping, and specifically I think there were some individuals that were intoxicated, that were disruptive. A lot of folks didn't get sleep last night. Some folks might have been scared and upset. There is a safety committee already, but we would like to take some time tonight to process, just one sec, to process a little bit about what happened. So campers and non-campers, we can all stand in solidarity. So we want to be able to talk about what happened last night, people who weren't there, hearing from people who were there. We also want to offer some helpful suggestions to this security team, because some of us might have some good wisdom around creating safety. So we're actually not going to try to make any decisions tonight, but we get an opportunity to give a lot of suggestions and input to our security team, and also to learn about and support the campers. because we want to bring a lot of solidarity to our movement. So that is our one agenda item tonight, and we'll go over that a little bit in a few minutes. When we get to that agenda item, we'll talk more about how we're going to do that. Finally, we'll have a chance for people to make public announcements that relate to the group. And then we will close the General Assembly at that point, and we will open up and have a soapbox. Soapboxing is the opportunity for anybody who wants to speak their opinions, their ideas, their thoughts, to come up in front of the group and have the soapbox. So that will happen after we close this General Assembly. And I think there was somebody.
Are we going to have proposals for agenda items, or just working groups going to do proposals for agenda items?
As part of our announcement process, or after our agenda, we can take some proposals for, or some other suggestions for proposal items so that the facilitator team can make sure that those proposal ideas get scheduled. Yeah.
That's nice. I like it.
Okay, is everybody, can we consent on this agenda?
Yeah, we're one item. Yeah.
Is there anybody that has a serious concern? Okay. So we have a new policy that a brief, concise Treasury report will also be a part of the General Assembly. So we are going to invite you to make a Treasury report before we do our working group. That is an agreement that we consented on.
That is a working group.
So that's fine. So we're going to go into right now. Let's start with our minutes from last night. And then if you are representing a working group, please come up to the front, and we will have a physical stack here, and we'll take working group report back as the next item on our agenda.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you for these stuff. I forgot to say this, please. So I'm suggesting let's start with 20 minutes for working group report back. How does that sound? 20 minutes to vote to consent. 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Let's start with 10 minutes, and then we can extend the time if we need it. But 10 minutes for working group report back. Be concise. Okay. Okay, so let's start with the minutes from last night and the decisions that were made last night.
Okay, last night we talked about Obama coming into town, which we're going to get back to that with the very first working group. We consent to the next to the mural area under the bridge. That's our new home. So it's pretty cool. It's nice. As far as bridges go. And then we went and picketed. That was the minute yesterday. Period.
Okay, let's do our Treasury report. Come close. And you got to come.
That's good, sir. My name is Mike. I'm one of the co-treasurers. To begin with, we'd like to thank all the donators. We'd like to thank Doc and Shirley for helping us with paperwork, copies. We'd like to thank the facilitators. These are people who donate other than funds. Yesterday, we took in donations $149. And it's the darndest thing. The first time we counted it, there were $99. We dispersed in total $387.50. We have on hand over $1,000. Or I beg your pardon. Our donations have totaled over $1,000. There was a word, turpitude, that came up. I'm a little off topic, but the definition of turpitude is wickedness, and that's just GI. I don't have anything else from the Treasury. Thank you.
And when is the next meeting of the finance team?
That's not an alcohol. It's an ongoing process.
Okay.
This is our meeting.
Okay.
So
All right. Yeah.
And if there's any bookkeepers, any people with strong bookkeeping and accounting experience, or anyone with accounting and law and accounting experience, please raise your hand. You will be immediately on the Treasury Committee.
What's your name?
My name is Mike.
Mike. Come see Mike if you want to help out with Treasury.
Hi, I'm Mill.
Hey, Bill. Hi. Bill.
The Obama arrival has presented some logistical issues for Occupy Asheville. The tickets are now being handed out as we are here having General Assembly. We have 5 people over there at this time trying to see what kind of ticket resources we can get for anyone who wants to go to the Obama meeting, which is at 10:50 tomorrow morning at the Fletcher Agriculture Center. Because it is of an issue of signage and other things, such actions won't be allowed inside, but if you wish to on your own carry out such signage, which would be outside of the physical facilities, you'll have to act on your own because we cannot coordinate it at this late date for Occupy Asheville.
I thought he was speaking at the airport.
It's directly across from the airport. It's called the Agriculture Center.
I just came from there, Doc.
You have some update, Liam.
Yes. The only tickets that I'm aware of, don't know about the Democratic Party thing, so I can't speak on their behalf. But it is to my understanding that you had to be there, you had to sign the ticket in order to get it in front of them, and you have to have an ID. They're not allowing any liquids, which means no water. There won't be any bags allowed. You have to have ID, no blades, no knives. You are allowed cameras, you are allowed cell phones, but that's pretty much all that's allowed. When they say no liquids, they are very clear, not even water. The parking at Gate 6 at the Western North Carolina Ag Center. They're going to bus people over from the Ag Center. There won't be any parking at the airport unless you pay for it. And you can't get in. The meeting is Obama's going to fly in on Air Force One. He's going to be landing on the tarmac and speaking on the tarmac. There was about 2,500 tickets available. There was a long, long line there. The gates open at 6 o'clock at Western North Carolina Ag Center. You can park there, get in line to be bussed into the airport. And he is correct, 10:50 is when Air Force One is scheduled to land and Obama will come out and speak.
So it boils down to this. At this point, we have no more opportunity than what you can do as an individual getting tickets. I'm sorry we can't do better than that this time. Any other questions or clarifications? Thank you.
I'm Glow Lady. I'm representing the City Council and the County Commissioners meeting because Tuesday is the County Commission meeting. And I know that some people have problems with what is said as a representative of this group. So, tomorrow evening, we're going to be hopefully on the agenda as to what are some of the important points that want to be put in front of the County Commission and who would like to say it. Also, the business group, there aren't a whole lot of us, so anybody who is interested in being a part of it, we greatly need members. Thank you.
So can we clarify, if somebody wants to help to strategize, is that right? Is there a chance to help for that city council meeting?
Okay. County Commission meeting. They have a pre-meeting at 4 o'clock on Tuesday. They have a meeting that starts at 4:30. If you would like to be there just to show up for your body in order for someone to have 10 minutes to speak, we need 8 people to give up their time. Otherwise, every person has 3 minutes to tell these commissioners what you think of the job that they're doing. And if any of you know and have been to these meetings, they really do not like listening to the people's voices. They will read their computers, they will read their papers, they will talk to each other.
So if folks want to come, it would be at 4 o'clock. Show up at 4 o'clock, or 4:30.
It depends on what you would like to do. Pre-meeting is at 4.
Pre-meeting at 4.
The meeting starts at 4:30.
Okay.
The speech will probably, or public, it depends on how many things are on the agenda, but that doesn't mean that the picket cannot walk down outside of the county commission meeting.
Thanks. Okay, so here we have from our timekeeper, we have 3 minutes left, and we have 7 people on our staff. I'm going to suggest that we take 10 minutes to finish our working group report back. Does anybody have a serious, everybody in agreement, consent to 10 more minutes on report back?
Hello, I'm Moksha. I'm with media. We've got a few web designers now working on the website to get it more streamlined. That's OccupyAsheville.org. There's a woman named Ulufimi Lewis who has a radio show where she's talking about Occupy Asheville on Sunday from 11 to 12, and that's on 103.5. mainfm.org is the website for that. And we are working on, as well, getting a full live stream going down at the base camp. So it would be 24 hours a day. 11 to 12. AM. And so once we get that established, we'll have it going 24 hours. It may end up showing clips of different things going on that aren't related to the base camp but are. And yeah, thank you.
When is your next meeting of media group?
Oh, our next meeting for media is tomorrow at 6:30. Thank you.
So that would be
Here.
tomorrow, Monday, 6:30, here in the park, if you want to be a part of the media working group.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Robin. I'm part of the facilitation working group. So that is facilitators trying to facilitate these GAs. So we are working together with a group of facilitators to take in suggestions that people have already written down during General Assembly meetings. We had a meeting today that was very successful. We're trying to condense all of those things and trying to come up with a change to certain process. So we will encourage you to, one, pass this clipboard around if you have more suggestions. We are happy to hear them. If you are someone who doesn't want to write it down and you want to be heard, please find a facilitator. We are having another meeting on Wednesday afternoon. So please, if you have ideas, they are welcome. Give them to us through this means or through a facilitator before Wednesday afternoon. Any questions?
Is there any place where the debates and time from all these meetings can be posted online?
We're working on it.
Yeah, it's a great idea that people are definitely, we're getting close. Can I just say there's an information table that has been staffed right out here, staffed Monday through Saturday, all day. It's a great place to start to bring information as a collection spot. So anybody that's in a working group, let's start giving some information to this information table that's right here. But we're forming. So yes, that idea, it's happening soon. Yeah.
I'm going to hand this to you first. And it's a really, really great idea. It's being discussed, but it's not a bad idea to write it down again. Some of the ideas are just about the groups that are on a webpage, but also have a physical thing. Any other questions?
When was the next meeting of facilitation?
It is Wednesday at 5 o'clock here
At the Wall Street Coffee House.
It's at the Wall Street Coffee House. And the hope is that we are gathering all the ideas before that meeting, so that meeting can just be a review of all the ideas that are out there.
Okay, next working group.
Hi, I'm Sonny from Nonviolence and Direct Action Working Group. We've had a few trainings going on so far, working on getting more together. as we're training people, we're also training people to train other people. So that if you're part of an affinity group and you get trained in this, then you can go back to your affinity group and do some of these exercises with your group. So that we train one, trains one, as it were. We're also continuing to be holding meetings, and we don't have them posted yet. We'll be posting that down at base camp as well as up here when there's a table up here as soon as we have new information to offer new times for people who want to participate in that. In particular, we're looking for people who've had some sort of experience with nonviolence, direct action, training, either facilitator or participant, who can add your expertise in this. So, thank you.
Thank you very much. So check the information table or down at Lexington Avenue if you want to help with the direct action working group.
My name is Matthew. Yesterday we started a working group to have proposals for a list of demands. And we came up with quite a few. We got 18 national demands we want to meet. We got about 5 local demands we want to meet. We're open to demands from humanity, and we want to have a consensus. We want to bring this to a consensus tomorrow night. So if you guys want to participate in adding any demands, there's going to be another meeting about this at the statue at 7 o'clock, assuming the General Assembly is over by then. If the GA is not over, it'll be at the statue afterwards. Clarification.
Are you intending to have consensus on our demands by tomorrow?
We have consensus just in the working group on the demands that are already written down. We want to present each demand for consensus tomorrow, and those we cannot consent upon, we will cross off the list and table. That's all.
What's your group, Matt? That's the demands working group?
That's the proposed demands working group.
Proposed demands working group. Where can they meet you tomorrow? What time?
Statue tonight.
Statue tonight at 7. At 7. Got it. Statue tonight at 7. Thank you, Matthew.
Hey, I'm Fox. I'm heading up the security working group down under the bridge at Lexington. We're looking for sober, healthy-minded, calm individuals to help us keep people safe.
This is Fox, everybody. Hey, Fox.
Hey, Fox! You know. Anyway, we're looking for people to do security with us. If you want to do security, I'm having a facilitation down there at 8 o'clock. It'll be where the trees are, it'll be in the parking lot. 8 o'clock meeting for facilitation of security for the people who are camping under the bridge. Like I said, all you need to do is be calm, you know, and able to deal with aggro people if they do happen to show up.
So that's 8 o'clock tonight.
8 o'clock tonight.
If you're camping.
If you're not camping and you want to help, that's fine.
Stay overnight and camp.
We're doing shifts. We're trying to organize shifts, and we need more people. We've only got about 5 of us, so we're exhausted.
So under the bridge.
Yes.
Security meeting, 8 o'clock. Give them rest.
Thank you, security.
Hi, I'm Matthew, and I'm with the spirituality group.
Hey, Matthew.
Hey, Matthew.
And so basically what we're here for is to offer our services. We're not here to press anything upon you. So we have to offer massage. People are going to do qigong sessions, tai chi. Just if you need an ear or a hug, you know, there's a lot of aggression, there's a lot of enthusiasm, but people are worn out. So we're here just to offer you. Tonight at 10, we're going to be down there. There's going to be 4 of us. List of schedule walked off earlier about 10 minutes ago, so I don't know exactly. I know I'm in the zoo scene, and there's going to be like just people there to care. Wednesday night's another scheduled session, and I'm going to go pick up a whiteboard to write down so we can actually have a schedule. And we're using this week as a week of trial and error to figure out what's going to work and what people need, and we're going to listen. And then Thursday I'm holding 2 meetings, one at 12 and one at 6:30. We're going to meet at the tree to see what's going on, get feedback from the people who are actually doing it. And if you guys want to come, you're more than welcome. We have 2 sessions, 12 and 6:30 Thursday at that tree.
Tonight at 10 at the camp.
At the camp.
Thursday 2:30 and 6.
12 and 6:30.
12:30 and 6:30.
And we'll be at the camp on Wednesday night at
12
10.
and 6:30. Thursday.
Yes.
Yeah.
At camp at 10 every night?
No.
Tonight
and Wednesday.
and Wednesday.
Okay, yeah, we're getting everything worked out.
Sweet.
Yeah.
And a hard copy. Calendar, 10 o'clock tonight, 10 o'clock Wednesday, 12:30, 6:30 at the tree.
Yeah.
On
Thursday.
And if you want to read these announcements again, hopefully these minutes will be posted on the website. You can look for minutes of the General Assembly on the state. All right? Thank you, working group. So can I just see a show of hands, everybody who has participated in a working group? Can you just raise your hand? I want to just give super thanks to the people who, thank you to all the people who are working outside of here, outside of marching, doing the good work of this movement. So now we're ready for our big agenda item. And what I want to ask is for your help. So I'm going to do something that we experimented a little bit with yesterday, and it worked really well. So we want to take time to process some of what's happening down in our camp, because we want to be in solidarity with our campers. We know this is an Occupy movement, and our campers are sleeping on the ground, and last night they barely got any sleep at all because of the disruption, because of drunkenly conduct, because of somebody I heard was very violent and scary, and we had a mom with 3 kids. Bless her heart, she's going to talk today some. She's still solidly behind camping. So this is an Occupy movement. So we want to give support to our campers, and we want to give some good ideas to our security team, and just talk about these things. So what I'm going to ask is, I want us, because we could do that in this big group, but one is it's going to be really hard to hear each other. 2 is we're just not going to have enough time to hear from enough people. So what I'm going to do is ask you, let's get into small groups, and let's talk in our small groups. And each group have a spokesperson. And so after we meet in that small group, we come back to this large group, and that spokesperson shares the conversation that happened in their group. And what I want to do is make sure that every small group has a camper, somebody who camped last night, somebody who can fill you in on what that was like, and somebody that can tell their story of what's going on. So the first thing I'm going to ask you, folks who are willing to experiment with this right now, is folks willing to experiment? All right, cool. Thanks. So the first thing I want to ask is anybody that camped last night to come up here. Just to stand right here. Everybody who camped last night. You all are making such an awesome sacrifice for all of us. So what I'd like to do right now, in as simple and orderly way as possible, I'm going to ask our campers to just find a spot here in the circle, like somewhere here, and I'm going to ask all of us to find a camper to cluster with. Try to even us out so the groups are basically even in numbers, but spread out campers. So campers spread out, find a spot, and if you're willing, campers, to be in a group, a small group right now, and everybody else, we're going to do this for 30 minutes, and then we'll come back. No, we're going to do 30. So, find a camper, and let's give these campers some support, and I'll give us some direction for the conversation when we get our little cluster. Even if you don't necessarily want to talk right now, please be involved in the conversation. Just to be present in a small group right now. Be physically present in a discussion with a small group. So even if you don't have your own things to say, that's okay. It's important that we're hearing you and you're hearing what is going on. And you always have the choice. You always have the choice what you want to do. So if you don't want to move right now, that's okay too. But we want to give some time to talk about and process this issue as a group. So once you find your cluster, we have a group right here. This is beautiful. I want to just say, democracy happens. We have some beautifully
How you been doing?
even number of groups. Okay, so if you're comfortable in your conference, find some place to settle down, sit down. You'll probably be more comfortable. Just define your group, look amongst each other, figure out where you want to sit together for the next 30 minutes. And decide, so the working group can decide.
Hey, how you doing, Robin?
I'm doing it.
Oh, what about?
While I'm playing close shops around here, I've been taking pictures all over everything. A guy just drove by in a blue pickup truck. And
There was a guy videoing me
I've been
just
trying
dead
to
on.
cover my face, but the guy caught me.
I've been blacklisted years ago.
Nervous. It makes me very nervous. I don't know why.
I gotta watch my kids. They're here. I'm in the way. We'll catch up the notes. Yeah. Sorry, I know. Anyway.
We had a concern about that. Maybe I'll try to join a meeting and see. Let's talk about our story.
How we can support campers. Number 2, give some suggestions. How can we support campers? How can we support campers? Number 2. Okay, if anybody has a question, just raise your hand, and we'll try to, if your group runs into trouble or you don't know what you're supposed to do.
You don't mind if I sit in?
No, I don't.
This is a live stream. Is that okay?
No.
Can they hear us up? There's about 15 people watching.
So you were down on Lexington.
Yeah, over by.
So the Fed building has problems too.
Yeah, that was a plan to look at the median.
No, I'm sorry. I understood that they were just there. The police kicked past them because they weren't quite giving enough room on the sidewalk for official.
Clarification. They went to Pack Place last night, and there's video of it. And then after that, they went to the federal building, and they got attempted kick out on the federal building, right?
So they could, yeah.
Cool.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
You were down at Lexington.
I was down at Lexington. Yeah. So actually, they did get kicked out of the federal building as well, and they ended up at the Methodist Church.
Oh, what is
the whole is more of the story. I wasn't there for it, but I talked to Liberty, who was there this morning. So anyway, that's what I know. I think so. Yeah, I think they moved into the church, but I'm not 100%. So I don't know how they get in the church, so I don't know, but that's what Liberty said to me. That's what I know. So we're down on Lexington, under the bridge. And do you guys know that area? Okay.
Yeah.
It's not like under a bridge in the normal sense that I think when I think under a bridge. It's like a huge open area with murals covering the entire underside. It's art. It just happens to be under a bridge.
How many of them? How many were you?
50, maybe.
Oh, awesome. Good.
40 people. I don't know. I'm not sure exactly how many. I was most of it. Trying to. So basically, what happened is like 5 or 6 people showed up who were all drinking, and they were not part of Occupy, but they were making a lot of comments about the revolution and about how they wanted to participate in it or they were already part of it. Anyway, making a lot of comments. But the basic gist of it was that area is where a lot of homeless people normally sleep. So, because of that, they came to their normal camping site, and we were there, and they were like, screw you guys, this is our spot. And I get that. The challenge with it is we are permitted to be there now. It's no longer public space, it's now permanent space. So, the moral issue is one thing, and the legal issue is a different thing. So there's that, and then basically they showed up, and we tried to talk to them, and we basically said, totally cool for you to sleep here, you're totally welcome, but please don't be crazy and loud while we're trying to sleep. Go like 100 feet away, that's all, please. And they were really hostile, really, I think they felt like we were basically kicking them out of their home, which sucks. So, but we tried really hard, and then most people just refused to be quiet and were just really loud and like beatboxing and singing and doing all this stuff. And a bunch of us went and talked to them, myself included, and some other people. Security was there the whole time. And then somebody got really violent. He just started cussing, being really verbally abusive, and then he punched one of the security guys in the face a couple times. And it just sucked. So then he was told, look, we're calling the cops on you. You can't do this here. There's certain agreements that everybody here has made. This site is legally ours. Either you abide by these agreements or you don't be here. You go be somewhere else. They're not hard agreements. It doesn't mean anything other than be respectful. Keep your voice down while people are sleeping. That doesn't mean don't talk. Have fun, enjoy yourself. It boils down to be respectful and not be drunk. That's another tenet. You can't be here and be drunk. You can be sleeping in here and drunk earlier, but not here and drunk at the same time.
Nice clarification. So, question.
Yeah.
Who gave the permit?
The city. The staff of the city gave us the permit, and all those parking spaces that are normally there are if you go look, they all have signs on them now that they know parking, and you can't park there because they're intense there. But
The city had to be aware that that's the homeless place.
Well, I think
I have an opinion about that.
I think the people who made we had limited options given to us, so I think that's probably the best, or maybe the only option that was really viable.
There were four options presented. There are basically two tracks. One of them was modify the current city code, which says that no public park can be occupied after 10 p.m. Right. So our first request was modify the curfew so that if people are expressing their free speech rights, they can occupy a public space past 10 p.m. Right, 24/7, which would basically allow us to occupy here, which is where we really want to be, most of us. Track 2 was give us a spot, permanent to us, and let us stay there indefinitely. So what they said is they haven't committed 100%, but they said we're probably going to waive the fees, which normally they charge, which is pretty expensive. It's a $25 application fee, and then because there are parking spaces there, they would want a day per parking space.
Oh, per parking
I think it's per parking space. It's ridiculous. So they said we're going to waive all those fees, give you the space, and the permit has to be reauthorized in 180 days. So that's
not even worth that.
I know.
I know.
That's the rational argument is that it's not only not worth that, those parking spaces aren't used very much.
Well, I think they are, but even if you stick $1 an hour, there's, that's only 24 hours a day, not 250. So.
Right, and that number is
cheaper.
Honestly, so I can't. I can't swear to that. But it's more. We're not willing to pay any.
Right. Yeah. Right. So it's only Okay, I appreciate the clarification. Yeah. So I don't know what you guys have obviously the security group now.
Yeah, there's been one pretty much from the beginning.
I do got a suggestion too about security.
Yeah.
I know you have a few local cameras. I guess they still are carrying them, and be sure to just turn on a camera and start videotaping anytime there's an incident. that are rods, so it's clear.
And,
you know, we have clear footage of everything.
To be clear, everybody, we need more cameras.
Yes, I think they
We are in a well-lit area right now, but we also need night vision cameras if people have them. So if you have a camera to donate, even an old cruddy one, send it to us. We need them. We need them for any sort of police brutality or arrests or anything like that, which has happened. Not brutality, but fairly inappropriate arrests.
Right.
And for issues like what happened last night, where people are being very inappropriate at the campsite. Thank you. Yeah. Right. It's a really good concern.
I think, I mean, obviously the campers and those people need to come to some agreement amongst themselves, I would think. I mean, there needs to be some co-respect going on. Unfortunately, some of the direct consequences of our capitalist machine, and no, I'm not completely against capitalism because I like to eat and I like to participate in the market, but we have to be respectful of those people who don't.
Of course.
And it's that their space, like in our home, we're entitled. I don't like getting drunk myself, but we're entitled to whatever. It's like now we're saying that we're here and we can't do what we normally get drunk and be blithering.
Right. And I mean, I don't think it's, well, I mean, my own opinion on that is basically, I mean, it's not perfect, but you can be drunk in a covered area in a lot of places in Asheville. There's lots of places to go. Yes, we are in the area that they have historically gone. At least some of the time. Yes, that's true. We're kicking them out of being drunk and rowdy in that spot. That's unfortunate. I mean, it sucks, admittedly. It sucks, but they're
children now.
Where we're at.
And, you know, there's children present now at this campsite, so we got to start considering, I mean, a little more, I know, you're going to run across drunk people, and, like, when you called the cops, I guess, did you call the cops last night, or did it get to that point?
Yeah.
I mean, that should be a thing when it gets to a certain point, you know, for them, that's what their job is, you know, to intermediate in such a situation. I'm not saying to kick them out, but to come, you know, and help them understand that this is serious, you know, I mean, we got a permit to be there.
Right.
I mean, every other citizen has to respect that permit just as much as they do, even though I know they're getting kicked out but I mean, you know, a lot of
welcome to sleep.
Yes.
That's great. They're welcome to chat. They're welcome to laugh. We all are. Everybody is. The issue was this wasn't even just somebody sitting off being drunk and laughing. This was screaming, fighting.
Yeah.
Singing really loudly. There was
kind of
really
a protest
loud.
in its own right. I mean, you
Not even
almost like that.
I mean, it was them having a good time, but they were being really loud, and they could have just gone. It wasn't like it was raining. They could have been literally. And I actually made that direct request. I said, please go 100 yards in any direction. Just come back when you're ready to sleep. And they were just like not happy with that, which I feel them.
Yeah.
They really want to be heard.
And I was personally unhappy with that choice of a place just because of that. I mean, that location has got a history, you know, and I mean, and we knew. I mean, you kind of just knew this was going to happen. So.
So is it possible to trust the city that
I mean, we can revise things, but we picked that location because it was central as possible.
Well, they gave it to us. We didn't pick it. They presented it.
There were 4 they presented, right?
That was the only 24-hour option, though.
Oh, it was?
Yeah, that was the only one we actually agreed. I mean, you know, we agreed to only accepting a 24-hour. Not the meeting. I've seen the video of that meeting in City Council, or the previous one where we consented to only 24-hour campsite.
They might have a bit of an ulterior motive that this group helps you with the
I don't know if they do or not, but we talked about
that.
Maybe outreach can work on this a little bit.
My assumption is that this was it was kind of it was a conscious decision on the part of the city. Is my assumption. They had to have known. Maybe they would say they didn't. I don't know, but I would assume they did.
I got a small suggestion again. There's a few people in the community that do a lot of work with the homeless, and they know a lot of these people. Maybe we need to outreach to them, and there's an outreach group. I'm on it, and maybe I'll make a note, and maybe there's some way we can get in touch. You know, Brother Christopher's one of them. He's difficult to deal with, but there's other people that, you know, some of the church leaders that do deal with these guys, and we can start a dialogue. You know, maybe we can get it worked out.
Church on Haywood Street, or maybe it's down on Patton that works with the homeless.
Okay.
I can find out, but
there's Amy and Charles right on
I mean, you're going to have drunkards, and I think you're never going to get rid of those, you know. I mean, we're not, you know, but as far as the homeless feeling kicked out, you know, that's another issue. Maybe we need to mediate or something, you know,
I'm sorry, and
find a
I'm
solution to.
not going to share a very popular opinion, but the homeless are where they are because they choose to be where they are, not
Correct.
because they're allowed to be where they are. And I think we, having this permit, and though I'm not in agreement with the permit, but we do have that, you know, and so I think they are the usual suspects for getting moved around. They're supposed to be that way. So,
all right, I don't completely agree with you, but I hear your perspective.
Sure, that's what we're here for.
I really like what you guys are saying, though, about the dialogue, because that, to me, I'm like laying in my sleeping bag thinking over and over again, as I'm listening to the conversations, this guy just wants to be heard, this woman just wants to be heard, because it's like that's what keeps coming up, like, you know, screw you guys, you just come in here, you rich bastards, sleeping in my spot, all this, and it's like,
people on the right say we're beggars, people, and the poor people say we're rich. Hilarious.
And then, but I mean, it's as soon as I or almost anybody stands up on their own and just walks over, for most of the people there, they'll start a conversation with you right away. And it's a weird conversation usually because, well, I think because they don't have a lot of what we would call normal conversations. But that's the first thing that comes up. And I think that what you're saying about meeting with them and having individuals come in is a really good idea, and just period befriending them, just being on the level with them, which is something I tried to do last night, and I didn't do a very good job.
Talking and listening to them, or have somebody approach them. Yeah, that's great. Great idea. Great. Cool.
I'm probably going to go home.
Live in Asheville, or?
Yeah. Yeah, tonight I have a potluck I'm going to, and then, so, you know, I think I'll be back.
See if they have any suggestions.
I mean, I think befriending is probably a better step than what I suggested.
Any folks?
No. Anybody got a suggestion about how to handle the camper issue last night with the homeless feeling ejected from the park? Just post and we'll talk about it. We got a few minutes left, I think.
Yeah, I'm going to do a time check.
Yeah, it's getting probably along. And y'all, there's video of what happened up at PAX where it's online. It's up, and I missed the federal thing last night. Yeah, and then we got kicked out. Crazy. Which they were out of line to kick them out over there at the Fed building.
March tonight, or?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know. Yeah, no, I don't.
It wasn't.
Think there's a march today. We were all pretty tired from yesterday. We had a pretty epic picnic.
Yeah, that was awesome. It's very good.
And then everything's going to continue, later on about the GA.
7 o'clock weekdays, weekends, move around a little bit because of other events that happen. Oh, except for Friday. Friday happens over there because of the
So, what are you going to report back to the group then?
Communication with the community.
Cool.
I mean, I think that maybe getting some people who are a little more experienced with working with the homeless members of the community.
That already know them.
And also, man, you know what would be good too is taking a training. The facilitators and the security crew taking a training with somebody. I bet.
Yeah, and how to communicate a little better.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, and the video camera idea, maybe. You know, when it's a real disruption, somebody just be video in an incident if anything does happen.
As much as possible.
Cool.
Two-way radios would be good too between the camps.
proposed.
Yeah, somebody was shouting out for two-way radios this morning online, I saw.
Oh, God. Oh, I got to ask. So, everybody, if you have a two-way radio, there are a few things that we're asking for. We need two-way radios to go from the different campsites. If we have an issue, we can relocate people. If we have just a logistical concern, like we need water or something, we really need two-way radios. So lots of people have those kicking around in their garage. If you have them, please send them our way. Yeah, walkie-talkie, that same thing, but like long range, like miles.
Yeah, well, we could be here and talking to them over there, communicating. Yeah, that would be very helpful.
Or the Fed building. I really wish we could have stayed in Christian Park.
Would it be worth
I know.
to get back to whoever should permit? You guys know.
I think on the 25th we're going back to address the permit itself and to see what their, because this is given to us by the city staff, not necessarily the city council. So.
Are you part of that working group? That's illegal. No? Are you interested in being part of it? Just giving what you would do is go to the meeting and present that, and then when you guys meet with city council, you would ask that question and just see if there's another one. Or maybe they've already gone through all those steps. But anyway, that's legal. I'm not a part of it. Okay. I don't know when they do.
I don't either. Probably contact Jeff.
Well, yeah. There's something to say about her. She's not abiding by any of the rules of the GA. She's broke online today. She broke several of them online today.
Not sticking around much longer. We'll just have to.
Okay. I was going to ask what happened. Is there a division in the campers right now, or what's going on? Or sidetrack? Yeah. We have a list of all our comments.
Yeah, there's been a
confusion.
Abuses, so we're all kind of like confused, wondering if she wants to stay a part of this. It's weird.
Okay, that clears it up a little bit because we were online. It looks like the campers were divided almost. You know, she's over here declaring all these things this morning about the camp, and she's out of the GA and all this. I mean, it's and I I didn't bring it, but there's a whole list of comments that she made.
All right. Well,
I'm not denouncing her.
Things
anyway.
are happening. Happening.
That's cool. We'll definitely clear it up, and we'll get it cleared up on Facebook. That the campers, I guess don't feel that way.
Yeah.
Okay. We were confused. That's all.
We need to sit down with Jen. We had tried to have a conversation the other day, and it fell apart. So it needs to be a mediated conversation. So we actually just
definitely
file that.
Okay.
Do you want to be our legal representation? If so, we really appreciate it. If so, these are our rules. You know these.
Abide by them.
Yeah, there are some other names.
Okay.
So that's a potential. Yeah, we need at least one attorney in New York. They have a league of lawyers.
Yeah.
Sweet.
We have a couple awesome attorneys.
That would be really cool if you let them know. My poli-sci teacher at USCA just gave me a name, suggested somebody, so I'm going to call them next week. So yeah, if nothing else, if Jen remains at the forefront, if nothing else, another one would be.
Yeah.
I do know him. He supports SES on Facebook. So I haven't asked him.
So you're talking about legal advisor, right? Because we have legal representation, like with the Lawyers Guild locally.
Right.
Bill Almond.
Yeah, we
as far as the representation part, so he's with the National Lawyers Guild locally.
Okay, cool.
And some of his info's online, but we probably need to keep it on the campsite, I'm sure.
Yeah, we need to keep his phone number on hand.
Yeah.
We really do. And there have been a few questions.
It's like Natalie's arrest. We've already called him about that, and we'll hear back tomorrow when he gets in his office. It's interesting. Yeah, interesting. And it's funny that Verato gets ticketed for blocking traffic. She gets arrested for darting across traffic. And then a guy darted across traffic right behind her, and they just ignored him.
I know.
And he wasn't a part of our group. It was just silly.
Jaywalking?
Yeah, the ticket.
We all love to do, but because she has time.
I don't, they just chased her.
I understand it.
Okay.
I've been told by a few people that she actually was a little more rambunctious than just crossing the street.
I was there. I can tell you exactly what happened.
Let's hear it.
Well, let's see. Is there anything else on this issue? I guess it's closed.
Yeah, I don't know for sure.
I'm happy to have the police and
You can wrap up. Those people, we will ask to come up to the front and just report back. And some of what you discussed
Suggestion. Maybe the campers can use earplugs to sleep better.
I did. I did.
Oh.
You might need it on that highway. Was it loud or at all?
Yeah, it turns into white noise eventually.
Yeah, right. It probably helps.
Shouting then.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Awesome.
All right,
Thanks, y'all. That's awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. What's your name?
Jerry.
Jerry, you're on Facebook, aren't you? Or,
No.
Okay, I thought I recognized your
I
picture.
don't even have a permanent internet. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm Jonas,
Jonas.
and I do outreach and other things, so live stream.
7, every day at 7 is a gathering here then?
The GA, the General Assembly, during the week, Monday through Thursday. And on Fridays, there's a drum circle that goes on here, and so we move over to the Pat Park, the steps at Pat Park over there. And then the Saturday and Sunday, we usually vote on how they handle that, because there's usually actions, like we'll do picketing, and
yeah, is there any,
so
like,
we vote on it later during the week.
is there any walk or not?
The marches, actually, before every General Assembly, they start at 3, everybody meets here at 3:30, I believe.
Oh, really?
And then that happens every day. And then they march for a while. They have a pre-planned route, for that day mapped out, and then they still march.
Hey, how you been? Route,
It changes daily. But usually, though, there's a committee that does organizes the marches. But they talk about it before each march. That day they'll discuss the route and the rules of the picket and stuff. They're not marches; they're actually just pickets. But
I get frustrated because we often have peace rallies and we walk on places where there's no traffic. So I'm hopeful that these are happening where there's lots of public.
yeah, that's what they try to do. They try to get the pickets going on at 5. I said 3:30. I meant 5. 4:30 you show up, and 5 during the high traffic areas, high time. So they've been trying to. Thanks.
The problem is not that we don't have the ability. The problem is not that the camp is going to be continually violent. The problem is just that we need more folks down there. Okay? Anything else? No. Oh yes. I'm sorry. Report back. I actually do have a list of requests that was made by David and was supported by the people in my group for our security needs. We're also going to discuss this in the security meeting tonight down there at 8. The request is that we will have 5 or 6 sets of two-way radios. The reason for this is that we will have one radio, a main radio at the base camp, and for the campers who want to camp at other locations, we will be able to stay in contact with each other and know when there is a problem at any of the camps so we can come down and assist. The second thing we'd like to get is blank T-shirts of any color that we can spread out and people can wear so that we are identifying each other and we all know, oh, hey, you're with me. We don't all know who we are yet. We have new faces coming in all the time. The third thing for the medics would be 3 backpacks filled with supplies, medical supplies, Band-Aids, things of that nature. The fourth thing would be a camera for the campers who are camping at the federal building so that we have something to document if they are harassed. The fifth thing would be hay bales. This has just come about today, as far as I know. A great idea is to surround the base camp with hay bales, which will not only insulate us from potential outside people who want to come in and create conflict, but will also give us a sound barrier. The sixth thing, which is a great suggestion, would be maybe some glow-in-the-dark or some sort of safety vest that our security team can wear so that they can be easily identified by the people who are coming in and by the people who are already in the camp to know if there's a problem, who they can go to help get some resolution.
Very good. Yes.
Hello, my name is Melissa, and I just wanted to say I really appreciated hearing all the ideas
that Lindsay's? Okay. I really appreciated all the ideas that came from Lindsay's group. I thought they were great, and we had a lot of the same ideas as well. So I'll begin with the first one that we came up with is consistency within the message.
You want to do people's mic? Let's do it within the message. Okay, so she's going to say it, and we'll repeat it so we can all hear.
Okay.
Short phrase.
Short phrase.
Okay. Consistency within our message and guidelines.
Consistency within our messages.
And to have strong security with recognizable.
Strong security.
With recognizable. Colors, vests, etc. And to have good communicators. Within the security system. And so willingness and patience. To educate others. Who may not be directly. Involved. In our movement. Signs at the camp entrance. Listing our rules and guidelines. Upon entry. And also, we had the same idea for radios, linking multiple campgrounds.
Linking multiple campgrounds.
And create an advisory group. Of folks with expertise. And dealing with homeless and troubled. People. Thanks.
Great. So if you have that written down, we want to make sure maybe a member of the security team has that for tonight's meeting. So you got that? Okay.
Hi, my name is Matthew.
Hey, Matthew.
The first thing that was sort of agreed upon that doesn't necessarily have to do with security, but it does have to deal with how we portray ourselves, and that is we stop using the word homeless in terms of the people who are causing us problems. Because we have members in this group who are homeless and who are not troublemakers. So we use the word troublemakers or intoxicated individuals instead. So for the security team, we have a list of legal observers and security members with contact information right away on hand all the time. We immediately established with outsiders that the Lexington Avenue location is a permitted encampment and not a public space. But everyone is welcome if they agree to respect our guidelines. And we want to make people feel welcome as soon as they come in to de-escalate their attitude right away. We want to have a set list of stages of escalation and steps of de-escalation to take at each stage. There are a few proposals for that I think will be gone over in the security meeting for the security guards themselves, or the safety guys themselves. That was pretty much it, I think. Is there anybody from my group wanted to add anything?
What was that part about the camp being what? It's public what?
The camp is not a public space, but it is a permitted event. And so we have the right, we have a legal right to keep them out. But we want to welcome everyone in so long as they accept our guidelines, which are posted at camp now at all times.
So who permitted you to stay there?
The city council. We have a permit.
City council did? Oh, all right. I see what you're saying.
And we need to have a copy of that permit there as well. I don't think anybody has a copy of that permit at this time. So that was also a thing.
I'm Matthew.
Hey, Matthew.
Our camper had gotten there about 2 a.m. last night and got there a little bit late and missed a lot of the big hullabaloo, but there was still an individual there that was very angry, very caustic, you know, aggressive generally, and it got worked out, and then in the morning, that individual was trying to incorporate himself within the group, trying to help out, clean up, trying to be part of the community. So, you know, it's, you know, a matter of just like trying to just be kind and be helpful and be inclusive when people are aggressive or aggro, and basically just a few things we thought that could help campers. Just, you know, like we've got the spirituality group, obviously, and food donations you can drop off at the French.
Real loud.
All right, you can drop off food donations at the French Broad Food Co-op. You can come and help out. You can come participate, show your body and presence, and, you know, just show some love to everyone going around and be positive. Yeah.
Thank you. My name is Jim, and okay, People's Mic. People's Mic. Okay, and I don't know how much I have to add.
And I don't know
How much I have to add?
I spent a lot of time in the sleeping bag because I didn't have near enough clothes on.
I spent
a lot of time in the sleeping bag because I didn't have enough clothes on.
And there was people around.
There was people around.
Stepping over me in the bag.
Stepping over me in the bag.
And sitting on the wall next to me. And
sitting on the wall next to me.
It was fairly loud and hard to sleep.
It was fairly loud and hard to sleep.
And I don't know what to say beyond that. And
I don't know what to say beyond that.
I guess the consensus of my group.
I guess the consensus of my group
was this was sort of their space to start with.
This was sort of their space to start with.
And that's all.
And that's all.
And that's all.
Thank you.
I'm Sonny, and in our group we also agreed to need more people down there. It was mentioned that the nonviolent de-escalation didn't work. Sometimes people that you de-escalated in one instance, they might come back if they're on crack or something. You know, it depends on what they were ingesting. There's
People's Mic.
okay. Offer the grassy, wooded spots.
Offer the grassy, wooded spots.
That was one idea.
That was one idea.
Keep at least a couple of folks on peacekeeping duty at all times.
Keep at least a couple of people duty at all times.
Use caution or police line tape as a surrounding.
Caution or police line tape.
Once the porta-john arrives, have a lock which is kept by on-duty peacekeeper.
Which is kept by on-duty peacekeeper.
I think your voice is working.
Okay.
Keep going that way.
I'm competing with the drums.
You're doing great. That's great.
Signs, particularly signs that say quiet, children sleeping at night. And creative use of humor.
Right.
Does anybody from my working group want to cover it?
No.
I'll do mine. So what we talked about boils down to doing training with people, with individuals within the community who have experience working with the homeless community in Asheville. With the security people doing that training, and probably the facilitators as well, so they can then lead the training later. There was that. What else can you?
Oh, I know one. We were reaching out to the homeless community leaders that already exist in this community and getting their assistance if they want to come, maybe to the camp.
So also reaching out to the community leaders who currently work with the homeless community and asking them to come in and facilitate a dialogue. And the other one was, maybe there's more, but the other one I remember is that we would just really work to try to communicate. That's what wasn't working well last night. a lot of us were really tired and fairly out of it and trying to just ask people to be quiet, and it wasn't working well. That's it.
One thing you might consider is some of the people that, like...
Okay, 1 second if you want to...
So either stand up and turn and get
Right.
out, or...
I don't want to put down a lot some of the people, but there's a problem with some of the people who run some of the missions in the area. They're not really great people. They do run the building, but I've heard that, well, I don't want to accuse people without any evidence.
I don't want to accuse
people without any evidence.
But there's been numerous stories.
But there's been numerous stories.
Of course.
We're at time. You want to finish? Okay.
Go to the ABCCM for your advisors, not the mission.
Go to
BCM for your advisors, not the mission.
Okay, so we are out of time on our report back. Could we do like 5 minutes? We have all the report backs, but I know we have a few stray hands. Are we willing to take just a few 5 minutes just if there's any 3 minutes?
There's a guy in the tree up there.
Or just some comments.
Dude, like way up in the tree. I don't know what he's doing.
Hey everybody, my name is Olaf. I worked in the spirituality work group earlier this afternoon, and we failed to mention to you a message that we will be creating a so-called heart space in the encampment. If you're spiritual, you can call it a sacred space. If you're atheist, you will be welcome there as well. We will be offering massage, Bible studies, etc. It will be an actual small physical space. We will have Bibles there, and the intention behind it is to create a place of beauty, art, and a place of fitness, and some sort of a spiritual intention, not to say that we're spiritual and all religions welcome, but there will be Bible readings there as well as massage, etc. And everybody's invited to pitch into the physical space itself. Thank you.
Awesome. So, I didn't see any other hands of comments, okay? Yeah, go ahead. Have just about a minute left on this agenda. 2 minutes. And let me just say, after this, we're going to do announcements. So if it's an announcement, we're almost ready for announcements. 2 minutes.
Hi, everybody. My name is Alupami.
Hello.
And I just wanted to get with the outreach group. I have noticed that there's not enough of people of my color that is represented in this Occupy Asheville. So I would like to step forth and be that middle person that's trying to organize and figure out how we can get more of the African American community involved with this movement.
Hey.
So
Come see me after this, okay?
Let's go ahead and start announcements, but let's bring the people that were on the stack. Come on up if you're on stack, because I think we're sort of bleeding into announcements anyway.
She's the one that is doing the radio show as well on Sunday.
Great. Sunday radio show. Okay, come on up here.
I just want to say something about safety real quick. It's just an idea that I had about maybe having a sign-in sheet with your people who are entering the camp and an emergency contact number. I don't know, it's an idea. Okay. Just in case, just to show, if something does happen, there's some way that that person has someone close to them that they can go to a dentist, a hospital, or whatever. Especially if they have a condition. And I know there was some talk about a medic tent or something like that.
Right, so that gets in the minutes.
And also a strict adherence to the policies that y'all talked about were the guidelines, like if anyone's members of the group are drinking, maybe a strict adherence to not allowing them to camp that night at all, no matter, how involved they are.
How much time does have?
We've already gone over time.
All right, so we've gone over time. I'm going to close the stack right now.
I think Jen Foster's going to make an announcement.
Move into announcements.
She showed up.
There are
She seems
members.
very hot.
Anybody who's a member of the security team can you please just raise your hand in case there's some spillover? If folks
Never mind, Jen left.
Remember, it's 8 o'clock tonight down at Lexington
She looks
Avenue.
very pissed
or
off.
talk to somebody.
talk to him because I want to keep us moving here now. The next portion of our agenda is the announcements, and this is going to be announcements just of general importance to the whole group. And also, if you have proposals that you want to bring to the General Assembly, this is also the opportunity to make those proposal announcements. I'm going to be jotting down proposals so that the facilitators can help you to get into the process with your proposal if you have a proposal. So, Stack Keeper announcements.
Okay. I was supposed to be here, and I'm sorry. I'm just reiterating the spiritual meeting. Sunday at 10 p.m., Qigong, listening, and massage. Wednesday at 10 p.m., massage and listening. So if you need a massage, which I think a lot of people do, you should show up. On Thursday, 12 and 6:30, this is also regarding listening. So this is mediation. You know, we all need people to talk to right now. Wednesday and Thursday, 11 p.m., tea. That's what it is. Friday, there's a man who would like to have a Bible study group from 9 to 10 a.m. So let's show his support. Monday at 6 p.m., this is a tentative meeting. I don't know what it's about yet. But thank you guys.
Hey, excuse me.
Hello, my name is Mason. I just met, and there's a newly formed action group that's going to try and do a protest outside of Bank of America on Tuesday, I believe, telling people to transfer their money. I think a lot of people here have heard of Bank Transfer Day, which is November 5th, and it says, transfer your money from major banks on or before November 5th. So we're gonna try and get that going outside of banks with people picketing. So if you're interested, talk to me.
Transfer the money to what bank?
To credit union.
To credit union?
Smaller local bank.
Do you have a time?
We do not have time.
Yeah, we don't have time on this.
How can people get more information? Oh, go ahead.
What's the significance of that date?
It's Guy Fawkes Day.
So how can people get more information about the action on Tuesday and this campaign to take your money out of the big banks? How can they get more information?
Talk to me.
Is there anybody else in the outreach team that's here? If you're here from outreach, can you raise your hand? Oh, this is a new
Yeah.
one.
Separate working group.
Meet with Mason.
Okay, Mason's your man.
Thank you.
This is not exactly an announcement, but it is some information that I have and observed from Occupy Atlanta. I was there last week, and it was really great. There were certain things that I noticed that it might could help us in a better way. When you walk up on it, they have about the same amount of people we do, and you can think, wow, it should be more. But as I was there, what happened, they have tents all around in the encampment, and each tent represents a special coalition group. So the diversity is really great because you have NAACP, SCLC, all kinds of groups represented there, and it's not a lot of people there, but everybody is represented. ACLU, everything. So that would help also if we strive toward making that a possibility in our encampment. That's how we could bring more people in, and the security would be okay. The other was they do have tables like first aid, outreach, an information table. So you walk up in there and you don't have to ask. Whatever you need, you see a table. And I think we would be wise to do something like that. Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
In
regards to his ticket on Tuesday in front of Bank of America, I also had the idea that it would be great if we could get groups of people who still have bank accounts with these big banking systems to get together in groups. We could all go to the different banks in our groups and go in and close our accounts at the same time, make a statement. Then we can take our debit cards and chop them up in front of the bank on the sidewalk when we're done. Then we can all go to the credit union and transfer our accounts. If anybody's interested in doing that, I mean, I just switched to a credit union 3 weeks ago. So, I mean, shouldn't be embarrassed.
What's the name of the credit union?
Oh, it's the one on French Broad, down that way. I think it's called National Savings or something. But if anybody's interested in forming these groups and going to various banks in these groups, come talk to me and Megan after the General Assembly. Thank you. We don't know yet, do we? What time on Tuesday? Okay, come talk to us. We're going to figure out a time.
This is really important, by the way.
Anything else? I'm sure it's something everybody already knows, but...
No. Nobody knows.
What?
I don't know.
I have a proposal, and somebody might have already covered this, but for me, being down at Lexington, especially in the daytime, because I have asthma, is problematic because the air down there is not good. It's right by an interstate. Particulate matter count is really high, lots of exhaust fumes. For an asthmatic, this is trouble. My proposal is that we maintain some presence here at Pritchard Park when we're able, and I would like to work on that if there are other people who would like to work on that with me. Okay. If I can get with people who are already on that afterwards, that'd be great.
I think it's might be a great
Yeah. That's cool. Well, I can't be there every day.
I was just going to say, and as I said, I think everybody probably knows this, but the Citibank direct action is an awesome one, and I'm sure everybody knows that 23 people were arrested. I mean, Bank of America at Citibank yesterday in New York City for doing the same kind of direct action.
And that's crazy to get arrested for like closing your bank account.
Yeah,
ridiculous.
Yes, the videos are streaming.
We only see that there's a promotion going on inside, and there's nothing happening, but I haven't seen any actual like contact.
That's a great question. Please do research. Please come back to the GA and make a factual announcement.
I have two announcements. I guess one, I'm from Anderson, South Carolina. I'm not from here. Not the most progressive place in the country, but we have got Occupy Upstate going on. I go to Clemson University, and so on last Thursday we had Occupy Clemson, and I facilitated a group of like 30 people who had never met each other, Republicans, Democrats, Tea Partiers, students, retirees, and it was awesome. It was so awesome, and we even consented on the principles that Occupy Wall Street laid out. So 30 people never met each other, and they used consensus process. It was awesome. So I just want to let you guys know that we have solidarity with you guys from Spartanburg to Greenville to Anderson. So we're building there too. The other announcement is that on November 4th through 6th, we're having a student conference at the UNC Asheville, the Southeast Student Renewable Energy Conference. And that Sunday is it's a Keystone XL pipeline that they want to build. Sure, if you guys are familiar with that, maybe not. But there's a day of action in Washington D.C. and we're going to try to have a solidarity action in Asheville as part of that conference. And so I'm just reaching out to Occupy Ashevilleans. If you guys want to be a part of that and be there in numbers, if you're interested in the environmental movement, climate justice. That's going to be happening on Sunday, November 6th. So I'm sure you'll hear more about it probably that weekend or that Friday.
And a little addition on that one. Go ahead.
UNCA, Sunday the 6th.
Okay. Any other hands? Just a little addition on hers. I'm also involved with the committee that's planning the SSREC, which is the Southeast Regional or Southeast Student Renewable Energy Conference. So it's big and it's for it's students, but anybody can come. And if you know any UNCA students who want to come, I can get them reimbursed. It's $25. It's $25 for us. I don't know what it is for the general public.
I think it's $40, but if you just want to drop in, I mean, donate if you can, but yeah, I'm on the planning committee for SSREC, and, you know, we want it to be community-wide, but, yeah, there's about 300 students registered right now to come. Thank you. Thank you.
Great.
So is there anybody else that has an announcement to make?
This is an announcement. It's decided that if everybody can get into a credit union, we have a wonderful local bank, Downtown Home Trust, that really does work with people in alternative situations and does so much for our community, for nonprofits, and so on. So just to say I've had some great experiences with Home Trust.
Thank you for the info.
I don't want to sound ignorant on this, but I am.
Hold on one second. So I'm stepping out of Jack Key from my name's Tanya, and I wanted to share information that goes along with the credit union. Here's a little handout that gives a very brief information about the difference, but also there's a website that you can go to, and it's called findacreditunion.com. So it will also give information. So I'm going to give this to Macon, and if you want this little handout, then you are for Macon. So that'll come.
The credit union, see the tunnel on the left across from Ingalls. You don't have to have none of your family has to be long or anything like that. Telco. You can get them there very easily. That's the only one I know of that is readily available. Also, Anonymous.com has a list of different credit unions in every city, every area that you can use.
I've heard that there's one on South French Broad, United Services Federal Credit Union, and you could be a member of the co-op and be eligible to join, member of the French Broad Co-op. Just one. The only eligibility you need to join is to either be a citizen of Asheville or the surrounding counties. Either you go to school here, you work here, you live here. That's any one of those things qualifies you to be a part of that particular credit union. And I think that's pretty standard for most credit unions. Okay.
What's the name?
Yes.
Say the name again?
Mountain State Credit Union over here on Haywood Road. They pay interest on your checking account.
Wow.
You pay zero, but they pay you.
Yeah, right.
So can I see hands? Are there any other announcements that the whole group wants to hear?
Yeah. My name is Diraja Patience. My husband and I, we were cited on Saturday, last Saturday. At the Pack Square. We were given 2 tickets on 2 separate months. First trial is going to be on November day 10th. From 1 to 4, you're welcome to appear in court to support us. And second trial will be on December day 8th from 8:30 to starting at 8:30 a.m.
Could I add something to that? There's a YouTube video at the website of that incident on the OccupyAsheville website of the ticketing. So and what happened before they got ticketed. It's Occupy the YouTube page. Yeah, there's a YouTube. Just search OccupyAsheville YouTube. It's there. Sorry.
Actually, he wanted to go first.
He's got a. He was arrested.
hard to keep track of everybody. Oh, okay.
Hi.
Hi, Sar.
First of all, let me say that I appreciate everybody being here. No matter what they do, it's phenomenal. The community. The community. We can do a people's mind. Dr. Manny's a 40. Fucking cool as shit. Keep coming on. Now, I want to tell you something. See these tickets? I win ticket prize. I'm working in collusion with the system. Each one of these is an opportunity for me to get on the public record with our position. So this is a blessing. Guess who blessed me with it? God. Guess who God works through? Jenny. She told me, don't get arrested. It's going to work like this. And it's working like this. You've got us, the bridge. Fuck with Jenny, you're fucking with me, you're fucking with me, you're fucking with my God. And my God is your God.
I'm sorry. Language.
Thank you.
Thank you for letting me
Language, please.
I'm Sonny again. I realized the request was for announcements we all might want to hear. This is one some of us here might not want to hear, but I need to announce it anyway. There's been a lot of people here who put in a lot of work in various ways, and everybody's appreciated all the work that everybody's doing. And everybody can find their niche, how they can help out. But there's more help needed in some ways, and the result has been that it means that we as a group have looked like we're not living up to our agreement. The agreement to respect each other, the dignity of all persons, for example. To reflect in our actions the common good we seek and to maintain clean and safe surroundings. When at the end of the evening, after a GA, for example, there's stuff all over and hardly anybody is left to get things together. We're having trouble sometimes finding enough people with enough vehicles to get things transferred. People don't know where the transfer needs to go in some cases. It's hard to figure out what needs to go where. We've had food that's gone bad. In fact, there's a garage that could have been donated where somebody could have eaten it if we're not going to eat it. We've had a lot of issues like this come up, and we just need people to step up. And what I'm suggesting is that we have a facilitation committee that makes sure that there's somebody who is volunteered for each task that's needed at the end of the evening so that things get where they need to go and we know who's taking what where. That's what I'm saying. And if we do that, I think we'll come closer to living up to our agreements.
So
Logistics. Yeah, thank you.
So, Barada?
I think I may hold this for the, is there an agenda item on the Obama thing?
It's already been
We're just, the Obama, the group that met yesterday that was going to work out the proposal said that it was impossible to organize a group event and people can individually.
A group of us went down to the Agricultural Center today. A group of us went down to the Western North Carolina Agriculture Center today to get our tickets. I got a ticket, she got a ticket, and a number of other people did. What really warmed my heart, I went and I spoke to about 1,000 people, in groups of 20 or 30, telling them what we're about. A lot of them didn't really know things. Not one negative comment. And many of them will stand up and start to chant, "Where are the 99" when they heard us say it.
All right. Okay, regarding everything, transportation, food, all this thing, if you benefit from any of these things, we need to assume that we're all responsible until the right people are appropriated.
We are all responsible for cleaning up. We're all responsible for making sure food doesn't go to waste. I don't need to talk about every single issue, but let's keep this at heart.
So are we ready to close announcements because we're right at 7 o'clock and it would be awesome to close the General Assembly? 7. There's one hand right here.
I just had a suggestion to make. People who go to President Obama's thing tomorrow, signs are not allowed, I hear. I suggest putting 99% on your shirt. And if you must, wear a shirt over that.
So we did hear a call, let me just say, we did hear a call for help tonight, I believe, in helping to clean up our space here, and do we need help with transporting anything over to the other site? Does anybody know?
Yeah.
We're okay today. Please look around you, pitch in, clean up our site tonight.
Alright.
Last announcement.
I've said this before, sort of more of a statement, this concern of mine. Part of my detail with this is security. We all know that there's a potential to have to encounter police brutality. That's sort of, you know, dumb, uneducated, insecure folks with a mean streak. But we also got some real twisted, evil folk in this town. I'm not trying to scare anybody, but we got a lot of beautiful, compassionate little sisters out here. Be on your guard. Don't stray too far from home. And if you do want to go off, wander, whatever, bring a peacekeeper. Bring somebody like me, like Kayvon, like Fox, right here, my man Victor.
Would you explain what happened?
Yes, we've had a couple of girls over the last couple weeks go up, you know, to have a couple of drinks, and they don't come back for a few hours. We can't get in touch with them. This is not okay.
Are they with the Occupy group?
Yes.
Camping out?
Yes.
Okay. See, that's what I'm talking about.
Hey. Go in groups and stay close to home. You know what I mean?
For campers. Thank you.
I'm not going to say that we're not going to be impulsive once in a while. That's just not rational. We know once in a while people are going to indulge. I'm not a Nazi. Just be safe. Don't get so far out that you can't be helped.
Hey, Robin, come on down here. Can you help us? Okay, one more announcement. Because we want to go ahead. One more announcement.
Well, I just wanted to emphasize what he was saying. A couple of years ago, a friend of mine had her throat cut outside of bars because she was coming out by herself. Just emphasize that point.
There's actually deaths almost every year.
Okay, we're closing Stack. So we're closing Stack, and we're going to close the circle. And Robin, our awesome vibes keeper, has a way for us to close our General Assembly tonight.
Woo!
So, thank you, because this General Assembly has been wonderful. And one way that we want to help close it is to actually show our solidarity as a group through mimicking one of our most natural happenings, which is making rain. So if you guys would all help me make rain, what we're going to do is I'm going to, from this line, right here, this line, the wings woman and over, you guys are going to be one little group. From here to here, we're going to be a second group, and then from here over is a third group. So what we're going to do is we're going to start out with a small rainstorm. We're going to build to a storm, and then we're going to bring it back down, and that way we can wash away anything that we didn't want to feel today, and we can hopefully grow some ideas that we built and we love. So, as this group, if you would start us out. Keep it going, keep it going. You guys start it up. This group, keep it up. Keep it going, keep it going, keep it going. This group.